What's up, guys? It's Kara here, and this past week I spoke about in my vlog wanting to start a cut series, and I told you guys I was going to focus more on cutting a little bit just to lose a few pounds and feel a bit better about myself, and I reached out to you guys to join this journey with me. So I wanted to do this video today to kind of really kick off this series or this cut series or what have you. Someone mentioned KaraCoreyCutCrew. I've been hashtagging that. I would like to ask that you guys do the same. So if you are joining this journey with me, let me know who you are. Hashtag it on Instagram, any of your social media accounts, and so I can follow along with your journey as well. This is going to be a group support, totally free for you guys to kind of help each other out throughout the summer. It's July 4th today. It's not too late to make some changes and feel good about yourself for the rest of the summer. So I wanted to do this video to kind of start out talking about how to go about your cut and a little bit more about what I'm doing. Definitely not just because I'm doing a certain thing doesn't mean that's what works for you guys. I know some of you guys are just at a different place in your journey. So this is just going to be me sharing what I'm doing and how I'm going to approach it and what I suggest for you guys who are beginners and maybe starting out with me in this cut. So for those of you that know, I am about 3 months post-competition, and as I mentioned earlier in my vlogs, I am just wanting to feel a little bit healthier, feel a little bit more fit, and just kind of lose a few pounds. Not prepping for stage, just to kind of feel better about myself. So this is going to be a very relaxed method to cutting. I'm not doing an aggressive cut right now. That would look totally different if I was doing an aggressive cut. I want to enjoy my summertime, have some fun, do a few fun things, which maybe you guys will see in my 4th of July vlog. But I also want to still kind of firm things up a little bit. So that is kind of my mindset going into this. Doing what I need to do to get results, but still feeling balanced and like I can have fun and not feeling totally restricted. So what I've done for the past 2 weeks, and that what I would suggest for you guys who haven't kind of started cutting or you don't know where to start, for the past 2 to 3 weeks, I've just been basically starting to track my macros again in MyFitnessPal. And my first week I wasn't super consistent with it, but the past 2 weeks I've been a bit more consistent. So the first week I kind of set macronutrient goals for myself. I set my carbs at 200, protein at 110 to 120, and fat, I believe I set myself between 40 to 50 grams of fat. So I did that for a solid week and really didn't change my cardio any, didn't do much cardio. I have not been doing much cardio, and I'll get to that. But so within my first week, I just kind of started to be consistent and track things. So I'm going with a slower approach, and that would be what I would suggest for you guys, is to first just start out and track what you're normally eating. Don't change a thing, and just figure out what your normal habits currently are. So get an idea of what your average protein, carb, and fat macros are. Get an idea of what realistically you're already doing for cardio or not doing. Figure out how much you're doing for lifting. Kind of get a baseline of where you're at. Don't just jump into making 18 changes. First, give yourself some time, a week, maybe 2 weeks, and assess what you're doing. So for myself, I did that, and then week 2 being last week, I just started by kind of slowly cutting back the carbohydrates a little bit. I tried to kind of pull it back to about 180 carbs and not exceeding that. I had wanted to up my cardio. I did not up my cardio last week. However, I was more consistent with my lifting sessions, and I set a goal for myself to be going consistently in the morning before I go to work. So your goals could start out as small and simple as that, just getting up and going first thing in the morning. Maybe you're not even setting a specific goal in terms of how many days a week. Maybe you just want to start there. And for me, that was a big help, and I feel better about how this past week went. I got up, I went to the gym Monday through Thursday, first thing in the morning, took Friday off, and I also worked out Saturday and Sunday. So I prefer a 6-day lifting split, and that's pretty much what I have been doing, typically 5 to 6 days a week. I do not plan on changing that whatsoever throughout this cutting period. But what I suggest doing once a week, I want you guys to sit down and kind of review how the past week went. How did it go? What things made you feel good? What what things made you kind of think, I kind of could have done this better. Maybe a couple things held me back with my results this week. Not to judge yourself, not to feel guilty about it, not to, kind of like focus on it and not feel good about it, but kind of use that information each week to assess what to do the next week. We're going to make small changes. We're going to reflect once a week and think about that. So for this past week for me, I was very excited and happy with getting to the gym consistently for my lifts, feeling good in my lifts and feeling like I just had more purpose and a little bit more excitement with my routine because I have more of a focus now. It gets tough sometimes when you don't have a focus. So for me, I kind of reignited that excitement this week with going back to the gym. So figure out what your purpose is, whether it's to lose a few pounds, whether it's just to eat healthier, whether it's to feel more fit. Figure out what it is. If you need to, write it down somewhere. Start to plot out a plan. So for me, I felt like I was much more purposeful this week at the gym. I got up and kind of struggled with, I'm tired, I don't want to go to the gym. And then I was like, you know what? I already told my YouTube family I'm cutting this bitch down and it's time to do this. And that support with you guys and kind of keeping myself accountable, even though I'm not working with a coach right now, I'm just keeping myself accountable through documenting my journey. And that's what's really great about YouTube. So for me, that was good progress this second week going in. One thing that I did reflect on was that it was my lady week, as you saw blasted on one of my vlogs. So I did not necessarily indulge, but it was more like, okay, if I'm having a craving, I'm not going to necessarily hold back too much this week. Because I know for me, knowing myself, sometimes the more restrictive I get, and if I tell myself I can't have something, I want it more. And I find that very important when you're about to go into a cut. Everyone's relationship with food is a bit different, so this is a time that you really need to get to know yourself and know what works best for you. For myself, if I tell myself, Kara, nothing is off limits, you can have and do whatever you want, then usually I'm like, yeah, I'm cool, I'm good, I don't need that. So it's about finding a little bit of balance. So if you need to treat yourself a couple times throughout the week within moderation, own it and do it, and know that if at the end of the week you didn't lose the weight you wanted to, or maybe you're not feeling as good as you wanted to, then that's part of it. That's part of why we're going to reflect each week to figure out what maybe held us back. So for me, I did cut carbs down a little bit this past week. However, I was on my period. I didn't necessarily restrict on the days that I was having more cravings. My weight is down about 1 pound. Nothing significant. That pound could be there tomorrow based on sodium and water weight, right? So nothing significant right now, but it's just a means of me measuring my progress and seeing where I'm at. So in terms of moving forward this next week, I would like to focus more on my cardio aspect of things because that's something that I find always helped me. I have a history of being a marathon runner, and I used to just run long distance all the time and honestly never really needed to worry so much about how much I ate. I didn't gain weight. I really didn't. I pretty much stayed at the same weight. However, aesthetically, I didn't really look the way I wanted to look necessarily, but it did help me keep things in check that I never had to worry about it. My body, by history, I am so programmed to do cardio. I've just done cardio for long periods of my life, and I'm a very small build, regardless of how tall I look on YouTube. I am only 5'2", and my baseline basal metabolic needs are not very high. I'm someone that, without working out, probably needs about 1,300 calories to maintain my weight. And that's without exercise, but for the most part, I'm going to be honest with you. I'm not going to sit here and say I can eat 2,000 calories and have a burger and fries and ice cream every week and not gain weight. This girl's body doesn't work like that. Most people's bodies, in my opinion, don't work like that. So learning your body is key. And for me, I know that cardio is a crucial aspect of this cut for myself. I'm someone that I would prefer to keep my calories as high as possible and add in more cardio. Shit, I'd rather be doing cardio like an hour a day versus having to cut my calories super duper low. And there's nothing wrong with that. For me, it's about finding cardio that I enjoy and that keeps me feeling motivated and that doesn't feel so much like work. So whether it's running, whether it's doing an elliptical, Stairmaster, whether it's just going outside and going for a walk, whatever it may be, there's no right or wrong. Any type of movement is movement, and any type of increase in your movement is going to produce a change. Some faster than others, but any type of movement increased in your life is going to have a beneficial effect on your cut. So for me, my goal this week is to increase my cardio. I would like to make sure that I'm getting in 3 to 4 cardio sessions, which isn't a lot for me. I'm someone that used to do cardio every day of the week, but basically since my competition, I really cut that down significantly, and I've only been doing cardio once to 3 times a week. So I consistently want to be doing 3 times a week going into this week. So that's my first step, is starting to increase the cardio. So figure out what kind of person you are, whether you hate cardio and you'd rather just cut the diet down, then there you go. Every approach is going to be different for everyone. So this week I want to increase the cardio, and I also want to slightly decrease my carbs again. I would like to, since I've been between about 165 to 180, I want to kind of bring it down a bit more, nothing drastic, to about 150 to 175. And I am giving myself ranges, and I recommend you guys do the same. I find, since I've been giving myself ranges, that I'm not so focused on, did I do the day perfect? Was I precise? Did I fail at the day? Did I win the day? You know, I'm not as black and white in my mind, and that's a good thing for my relationship with food during this cut. So giving myself ranges has been really helpful. So I'm going to give myself the 150 to 175 range of carbs. I'm going to stick with my range of like 110 to 125 on protein. And then for fat, I had been doing about 40 to 50, and I want to cut it down to 35 to 45 tops. I do find cutting my fat, I do see significant changes in my weight more quickly. However, I also find when I cut my fat, I do see a change in my energy levels as well. So I don't want to cut that too drastic. So that is my plan for my macros. Again, I just recommend you guys kind of think about different points in your life when maybe you've lost weight previously. Think about what has made you most successful with weight loss in your past. Think about a time that maybe you lost weight, you felt great, you maintained it well. What were you doing at that point in time? I'd also like you to think about, at what point in your life did you feel like you had the most energy and you felt the best? Because that's key. It's not just about losing pounds on the scale. It's not just about being lean and aesthetic. It's also feeling good, energetic, and healthy. Because if you don't feel that way, then odds are the life that you're living may not be up to the quality it could be. So for me right now, it's finding that balance. And in terms of weightlifting for myself, I've pretty much been good in that department. That's like the one department I've been consistent with. There have not been a lot of changes. I haven't fallen off the wagon. Even the days that I'm not motivated, it's like I can get myself there and just lift because I love lifting so much. So for me, I'm keeping that consistent. For you guys, if you're not lifting a lot right now, maybe you're not lifting at all. Think about ways that you can kind of maybe change up your lifting plan. Maybe you can increase the amount of lifting sessions you're doing. Maybe you just want to alter your lifting split so you're doing something different. I think the point of this video with starting out your cut is there's so many different ways you can go. I need you to sit down, think about your plan of action and what it's going to take for you to be successful. I know what it takes for me to be successful. It's something different for each and every person, which is why you can't just follow what your favorite person on social media is doing. You can, but odds are you are not going to maintain it for the long term. So what you need to do is sit down and assess what your ultimate goals are and what it's going to take for you to get there and what's realistic for you to maintain. Anyone can go on a fad diet. Anyone can go on a whole foods diet, on a no carb diet, on a 800 calorie a day diet. I guarantee you'll lose weight. It doesn't take a degree in nutrition to prescribe that to someone for them to lose weight. It's not that hard to get folks to lose weight. The thing that's hard is helping folks lose weight and find out a way that they can do it and actually make it a long-term change and make it a lifestyle. And that's what I'm here to do right now. I'm here to kind of help you guys, kick you in the butt a little bit, ignite things. Let's do this together. I got a few pounds I want to lose, and I want to help offer some free motivation to you guys so we can do it together, because you guys motivate me as well. So this is going to be the beginning of our journey, and as I mentioned in previous vlogs, I want you guys to comment below with what things you would like to see laid out that would be helpful for you and useful for you as you're going about this cut, and I would be glad to do that. So this is going to conclude this video for today. Let's start the week off right. I hope you guys had a great 4th of July, and if you indulged and you ate some foot-long wieners and you had some baked beans and some watermelon, then who cares, right? Tomorrow's a new day. Don't restrict yourself because of what you did today. That is going to set you up for a bad relationship with food. Accept what you did today. Be okay with it. Say, I had fun today. It was 4th of July and I enjoyed myself. Tomorrow's a new day. Let's start that journey. So don't be afraid to do that. Don't punish yourself for anything you've done in the past. Let's just move forward together. So this is going to conclude my video. Don't forget to hashtag that shit, KaraCoreyCutCrew. Is that right? KaraCoreyCutCrew. And I will see you guys in the next video.